So let me get the fancy schmancy, higher level intellectual stuff out of the way, because I guess most people want to tune in for the big brawl, the wrestling match of Nora versus the world. Like the great Tupac Shakur, the African woman will not be held back. So Nora has changed her channel again. So it's not Oh No Nora or Raised or What's Up. Now it's True Crime of Scientology. Yippee! Yay! Hooray for capitalism! Alrighty then. Okay. Well, where to begin? So I'm gonna do a preface in part one of a part of Nora's rebranding. I'm specifically going into that David Miscavige video, but I'll try to do summations for the other videos. I mean, true to her word, she's at least avoiding certain things. So she's not really talking about Aaron and his arrest, which, let's be honest, she's celebrating. Let's be perfectly honest, she's celebrating and doing jumping jacks. But we'll put that aside. I guess I'm always kind of puzzled as to what exactly Nora's up to, because it's not what she says it is. Like, she's here to educate us, because you have to be educated to educate other people, or at least know the subject or skill at a high enough level. But she really doesn't. She's always just doing very basic stuff and passing it off like, "Oh wow, that was gold. That was gold." So in one of her posts, she's promoting Steve Hassan, and I think you have to be careful there. Like, he's like saying, "You need to believe in brainwashing. He's one of our leading experts. He's so expert." Hassan is a little bit of a fraud. And listen, I'm not knocking the guy. I mean, you got to make money. If he's done a good job, he has some good knowledge on this. I think the bite model he has is very powerful, but he's a bit of a trickster. So just promoting him and saying, "He talks about brainwashing. I believe in brainwashings." That's not how real expertise works. You have to give us citations. There's a literature. There's a back and forth. There are filters, right? Published in a journal, published by respectable academic publishers, so on and so forth. You got to give us something. But that's not Nora. No, sorry, Bob. She's just confused in her own maze. How confused? Well, okay, let me start off positive. Okay, so she actually is very talented with editing. Like, her intros are actually pretty interesting. So the introduction was actually very inviting for the first video. Just the new branding of True Crime of Scientology with Nora, not without Nora. That was well done. That was very well done. So I do think she has some talent as an editor. You give her enough time, she'll do some snappy work with, the visual stuff. So, okay, there you go. So it starts off good, and she's joking around as she usually does, and does her cringe, laughing and applauding herself. But that's Nora. So good introduction. It's like, okay, semi-good moving forward. Then she tries to get into the heart of what she's talking about. And it was confusing. So she's trying to look up this propagandist for Scientology. And it was hard to determine whether it was this woman or the sister of this woman. And I'm not joking. For like 10 to 20 minutes, we're not clear. So Nora had this whole thing structured about, I'm going to talk about this person. This person has done propaganda for Scientology. I'm going to uncover the lies. Who are we talking about? And she's like, I really don't know. And I really don't care. Yes, I'm not joking. That was the literal beginning of her new branding, the new channel, the new everything. We don't know what we're doing here. I don't know what I'm talking about. Karen, not Karen. Who cares? Yeah, I mean, who cares? Why does it matter if it's David Miscavige? It could be, Babe the Blue Ox, Mr. Clean, Hulk Hogan, Marilyn Manson, Charlie Manson, Charlie Brown. Who cares? It's like, what's in a name? Superman, Clark Kent, Kal-El. Nora Ames, Jewish African superwoman. Oh, brother. Oh, boy. And I wish I was making that up. No, she was just dazed and walking around like, is it this one? Is it that one? I really can't tell, guys. We'll figure it out later. Alrighty then. So we had a huge identity crisis at first. So now, trying to hone in on a single point she was making, that is that she was going through a list of people, and this is not a joking thing. Okay, so she was going through people who were in the hole, and that's the notorious Scientology prison that Dave Miscavige set up. It's these two weird trailers where people were just endlessly tortured. It's pretty horrific things. And she's going through an article by Tony Ortega. And again, this is her usual not expert, doesn't know how logic works. She's like, oh, he used the word concentration camp. But why is it when he does it, nobody cares? No, Nora, I challenged Tony Ortega there. But see, here's the thing. Tony Ortega is a journalist. Now, I'm sure he does pass himself off as a expert on Scientology. He's no such thing. He does get a lot right, but he gets a lot wrong, right? If you're patient, he does have a lot of gems, but he also has a lot of questionable moments, very questionable moments. So I would challenge Tony the way I would challenge Nora. You have to be careful with these sensationalistic titles. But here's the thing. He's talking about the whole. At least with the whole, it is very plausible, even probable, to call that a concentration camp. That's not what Nora was talking about. She was talking about Big Blue. She was saying, I was held at Big Blue. Okay. You were held at Big Blue. Right. Big Blue. Big Blue. That, yeah, the Big Blue building in Los Angeles. And you're like, wait, that was a torture concentration camp? Apparently, according to her. There, people would challenge you or be like, wait, what? But apparently, I guess her idea is, well, Tony's a man. It's the patriarchy. People are challenging me because of the patriarchies. No, Nora, that's a fallacy. Just because we're challenging you and you happen to be a woman, that's not sexism or homophobia. You're an idiot, right? You're an idiot who happens to be a woman, right? Those are two different things. A male... Granted, again, two things can be true. There is definitely male bias, no doubt about that. I'm like, let's not be naive, guys. There are things like male bias out there, no doubt about it. But if a man challenges a woman for being stupid, that does not necessarily mean they're being homophobic or being sexist. It could be they're saying you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. But yes, you are a woman. That is true. So the reason you're sometimes getting challenged, and by the way, Nora gets challenged sometimes by women. So how does that work out? I don't know. She's not, doesn't know what she's saying. So I think the reason people are willing to grant Tony some leniency is he has had some pretty good articles. He's also put in his work. He's done work for The Village Voice and other magazines for like 30 to 40 years, depending on your count. That's a very long time. When is Nora McDonald here? When did you decide to become cult expert / journalist / polemicist? Oh, in the last 3 years? And that's her self-nomination. So, 3 years is not nothing, but it's not 30 years. So, apples and oranges. But that at least was solid. At least she's like, oh, there were a lot of people in the hole. Correct. That's true. So there's definitely a concentration aspect, right? A concentration camp aspect to Scientology. But the question is, how large is it, right? And again, I'm not sticking up for Miscavige, but the whole is the exception. If you think every Scientology org or every Scientology building is holding these entire floors of CI torture chambers, you're crazy, you're stupid. That is not true. So, okay, but at least we went somewhere. At least we established that there's the whole. That can legitimately be called a concentration camp. We got to be careful, though. Let's be careful with the language. And yes, Tony has his good articles, but he has a lot of bad articles. Two things can be true. Like, I'm Hispanic. Is this like internalized racism? I hate my own Hispanic people. I challenge Tony Ortega. No, he does some good work. He does some bad work. Nora's ratio is mostly bad work. See, that's also a logical difference. But we'll be patient. We'll go through more of the video. But it was not It's a good beginning, actually, but then when we got to the heart of the issue, I was like, that is not where we want to go, I think. But that's my opinionation. So, interesting new debut, but still has the problems of the old versions of the channel, in my humble opinion.